got a woman here, she can be. I got a woman here, she can be. Sometimes I think she don't be me.
I've heard it said that Elvis oversang in 1957. Don't be silly. When you've got an instrument like that, you can tell Elvis is very confident in who he is. 1956, of course, he'd burst onto the scene. 1957, he's finally tuning that great vocal instrument. And to me, 1957 was a landmark year for his vocal abilities. Stunning.
She makes love without a smile. Her dog get flatly wild.
Fantastic stuff. Hello, welcome back to part 2 of the American series, where I'm sure you can tell by the thumbnail today, we are looking at Loving You from July 1957. And this is such a well recorded track. So bright and vibrant, much as Presley was in 57. Here we are, we have the original RCA Victor Loving You album, as I've just mentioned, from July 1957. Now, as you will remember from last week, we went through the Elvis Is Back and the GI Blues album, and today I thought I would look at Elvis' very first soundtrack album. When I say soundtrack album, I mean a long playing album. Of course, yes, we had the EPs from Love Me Tender. So RCA Victor LPM-1515 in the top right hand corner of the album cover. No contents were available on the front of this album when it was first released. Now, this is a great Elvis colour promo shot from the movie. Now, if you look closely at the left hand bottom, or your left hand bottom, my right hand bottom, it says photo by Bud Fraker. Now, who was Bud Fraker? Bud was the head of Columbia's publicity photography department in the late 1930s and the director of Paramount Studios' still photography department from the 1940s. You know, I like these little interludes.
My whole life through loving you, just loving you. Winter, summer, springtime too. Loving you, loving you makes no difference.
Beautiful. Now, Fraker, he's probably best known for his classic publicity shots of Audrey Hepburn from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. Now, on screen is a special autographed Elvis photo that Elvis made out to Ken Moore, also taken by Fraker.
If I'm seen with someone new, don't be blue, don't you be blue. I'll be faithful.
Such an accomplished vocalist at the age of 22. And in fact, had just turned 22. Now, who was Ken Moore? Ken Moore was head of security for Elvis from 1957 to 1960. Ken can be seen in many photos of Elvis from this period. A big handsome man with a shock of wavy hair, often with a big friendly smile on his face. He was never too far from Elvis in a crowd. Ken was the son of a Texas concert promoter who often booked Elvis in the early days, and it was through that connection that he was hired by Colonel Parker. Oh, this is a killer track. Oh, you just want to get up and dance, don't you? Now, from this photograph, Elvis has personally inscribed the photo to Ken. Thanks for all your help, my bud. Paradigan, Elvis Presley. Ken Moore passed away shortly after receiving the photo, and unfortunately, the meaning of the inscription was never explained to his family. There's a balmy little breeze that's whistling through the trees, and it's telling you the bridge in the wood with me. Why don't you take a listen? You never know what you've been missing. Oh, what a rock singer. Back to the cover. Across the top, Elvis Presley in red, Loving You in yellow. Underneath that, Elvis Presley sings songs from Hal Wallis' production, Loving You, a Paramount picture in Technicolor and Vista Vision. Back of the cover, box of text lower right explains about the new orthonic, high fidelity and needle maintenance. 4 black and white film scenes pictured, and the spine LPM-1515 Loving You, Elvis Presley, with the RCA logo, Nipper Dog, and bookended again with LPM-1515. Now, I don't believe I showed you the spine of Elvis's back last week, because there is no text on the spine, but maybe we'll come to that on another video when I show you that great pressing that I've got.
I am just a lonesome cowboy, and I'm traveling all alone.
Love this one. Inner sleeve. Now, I have the generic one, produced probably later than the actual record, as it has Elvis Golden Records listed. And of course, this wasn't released until April 1958. Now, the correct sleeve should be a full colour pictures of Elvis Presley and Elvis, obviously his first 2 albums, in the best-selling long play albums category.
And I hear you calling me. Saddle up and ride, you lonesome cowboy. Here is where you'll find your destiny. In my dreams the lights shine bright and pretty, near to me and yet so far.
It's strange. When I think of classic Elvis from the 50s, that voice from 1957 just ticks all the boxes. Take it, look. Film review yet, but we will in turn. Almost as autobiographical as his life, as near as to his life stories, as you will find. I picked this up when I very first started collecting, probably 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago now. And this I picked up on an eBay auction, funny enough, and I think it cost me about £60. Now the album itself, the album cover is absolutely stunning. Very white still on the back, and that cover is just probably one of the most classic covers of Elvis from the 50s. Absolutely stunning. The record itself, I would probably grade at an excellent minus, pushing it for an excellent plus, I guess. It is a bit poppy and crackly in places, and it's not the one on the turntable today because I wanted to show you the actual record. I love this one. Singing my arse. Now the actual record. Now if you can remember what we spoke about last week, about the various pressing plants, this is actually a Rockaway pressing. Remember I said to you last week about 1S and 2S would normally be from Indianapolis, 3 would be from Rockaway, and 4 from the Hollywood pressing plant. So this is a 3S, 4S from the Rockaway pressing plant. Black label, long play at the bottom, once again in silver, with RCA Victor in silver across the top. H2WP-27623S, H2WP-2763/4S. Absolutely, these original labels, certainly with the silver text, are some of my very favourites. In fact, they are my favourites. Absolutely magnificent. And just to hold it in your hands, look, I know it's from a long time ago, but it's the history of it. You sound better than January and February of 1957. Of course, side 1, all of the tracks come from the movie, and side 2 are made up from the recording sessions of January and February 1957 at Radio Recorders. Today's music, or today's pressing, is the 1983-84 RCA International pressing, and it absolutely sounds top notch. You cannot beat these pressings. I've said it on a number of occasions now, but this Loving You is no exception. I'm going to quickly whip it over. We can play the start of side 2. So bear with me a second. Go and make yourself a cup of tea. Very hard to beat these RCA International pressings.
I found my freedom on Blueberry Hill. On Blueberry.
Of course, Elvis formed a very close relationship with Fats Domino. There you go. This was just a short one today. I was trying to pan out the record for as long as I could, with much information as I could give you. But as record covers go, the vibrancy of this, and when you compare it to the RCA International one, the hair is certainly darker. The face has a little bit more detail in it. It's a little bit more blurry on the RCA International, though it's a very faithful reproduction, but you cannot beat the original covers. Absolutely marvellous. News of the week. Yes, Baz Luhrmann dropped yesterday that he's working on a new Elvis movie. Now, of course, not an Elvis movie as such, but he is working on the outtakes or the lost footage from Elvis on tour, and that's the way it is. Now, this is really exciting. He dropped it in a little teaser yesterday, And of course it's blown up the internet, because that's all we want to see is footage of more of Elvis on tour. And of course that's the way it is. Yes, we know there's been bootleg stuff out there for years, but to see it in awesome quality, wouldn't that be something? So I'm really, really interested to see what comes out of this. Stay by your social media pages, because no doubt it will hit that first. Thank you very much for watching. I'm not going to be here next week as far as I know. If that changes, perhaps I'll knock up a short video, not an album review, because I've got a little travelling to do next week. But I will keep you up to date of what's going on through the community board. But once again, thank you very much for watching, and take care of yourselves.
Oh, Blueberry Hill.